Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Please stand and join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to our April 19th council meeting. Matt, want to start us with a roll call?
Councilor Halter.
Here.
Vitolo.
Here.
Savage.
Here.
West.
Here. Here. Sorry.
Hickerson.
Here.
Zadi.
Here.
Demas.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Mayor Como.
Here, councilors, first order of business, I'd entertain a motion to approve the revised agenda you have before you tonight.
So moved.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, councilors, I'd also entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the city council meeting of April 5th, 2022.
So moved, Your Honor.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, looky there. We're already right into petitions. I would ask, is there anyone here tonight wishing to address the city council on any issue whatsoever? Now is your time to do so.
Mayor, councilors, Devin Brubaker with the Ray Lovato Recycling Center. I wanted to speak about, gosh, I don't remember the ordinance number, but the recycling ordinance, whichever number that is. 04, I think. So, a couple items, and some of this was emailed out to you by your city attorney, and I appreciate the work that he's done with us to make improvements to this. There's a couple things I just wanted to run through what those amendments are, maybe a few quick additions to that, if you would be willing to entertain them when the time is right. If you go to page 2, the first amendment that was included in the email from your city attorney is deleting the definition of container. Due to the changes that we propose later on in the ordinance, there's no need to define container anymore because we're not requiring the use of any type of container. So the amendment would be to remove the definition of container. On page 4, section 4-200-5, there was some discussion about adding language regarding requiring the franchisees to do some level of marketing regarding what's acceptable and not acceptable for recycling. Some potential language there. This was not included in the email from Rick. But some potential language there under that section would be the collector shall be required to communicate acceptable and non-acceptable materials to recycling service customers at least once per quarter. And the reason I utilized that was they could include it with their monthly billing, and it could just be a simple sentence on the bill. Oh, if they wanted to do an insert, they could. There's no specific requirement for it, but just some level of communication on what's accepted and not accepted. And then on to page 5, this is where the wholesale changes are, and largely, number one, just to fit our operations that we have today and what we expect in the future, and to clarify the ordinance for the residents of our community, because this was pretty burdensome in how it was written. I understand why it was that way, but we saw an opportunity to improve it and clean it up. So on paragraph 3, and I apologize if I'm not using the right nomenclature for what each of these sections is, but paragraph 3, preparation for recycling, it says, for those residents who choose to recycle, all recyclable materials shall be separated from other garbage and refuse and grouped together and placed for collection. I would like to see the following language added at the end of that sentence: in the appropriate receptacle. Recyclable refuse shall consist of, and then would say materials that collectors determine to meet the requirements of their processing vendor and at a minimum shall consist of, and then everything else would be the same as what Rick sent out to you all in that email, and that would be the changes. And I'd be happy to hand this to you guys. I apologize, I don't have extra copies.
We need one copy for someone who would eventually make a
Yep,
motion.
and I can hand this over to you
That
guys.
would be good.
Yep, so I apologize
I'm
for that.
writing frantically, but that's, yeah, that'd be good. If you
So,
could hand it
and
over.
Happy to answer any questions, and I can give this to whoever wants to see it, or you guys can pass it around and look at it between now and when you get to the ordinance as well. So.
Yeah, you can just drop it to one side and we'll pass it through, Devin. Appreciate that. And I appreciate the help from you and Mr. Beckwith as well for trying to get this into wording that we can live by. Anybody else under petitions? This is your time to do so. Okay, I'm going to close the petition section and we're going to move on to the officers and staff reports, counselors. Under officers and staff reports, we have item number 1, the health insurance fund recap for March of 2022. 2, the financial report summary for March 2022. And 3, the Rock Springs Renewal Fund financial statements October, November, and December 2021, and January and February 2022. Counselors, I'd entertain a motion to approve the officers and staff reports and place on file.
So moved, Your Honor.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to council committee and board reports, counselors, we have item number 1, the Rock Springs Historical Museum Board meeting minutes of March 9th, 2022. I'd ask, are there any other reports due at this time? If not, I entertain a motion to approve the council committee and board reports and place on file.
So moved, Your Honor.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second has been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to correspondence. We have 4 items under correspondence. If there's any questions, feel free to bring them up. If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the correspondence and place it on file.
So moved, Your Honor.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to bills and claims. Counselors, item number 1 is the bills and claims for April 19, 2022. What's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve the bills and claims for April 19th, 2022.
We do have a motion to approve the bills and claims for April 19th, 2022. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 2 is the salaries for April 7th, 2022. Counselors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve the salaries for April 7th, 2022.
We do have a motion to approve the salaries for April 7th, 2022. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, counselors, are going to move on and do business. We have 5 items. Item number 1 is a request from the Finance Department for permission to dispose of surplus property. Counselors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve this request.
We do have a motion to approve this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 2 is a request from the Parks and Rec Department for permission to apply for a temporary use permit with the State of Wyoming Board of Land Commissioners to continue the use of Yellowstone School Field for Little League and Parks and Rec League use. Counselors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo?
move to approve this request.
We have a motion to approve this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 3 is a request from the Parks and Rec Department for permission to apply for a Wyoming Community Foundation After School Alliance grant to purchase STEM class education materials in the amount of $1,000. Counselors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman West?
Move to approve this request.
We do have a motion to approve this request. We have a second.
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And item number 4 is a request from the fire department for permission to fill a vacant firefighter position. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve this request.
We do have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And item number 5 is a request from the American Legion Post 24 for a road closure for the annual charity run on June 11th, 2022 from south of 501 South Main Street to the corner of South Main and E Streets from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor.
Councilman Hickerson,
I move to approve this request.
we have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're going to move on to resolutions, councilors. Item number 1 under resolution from the Housing Authority, Resolution 2022-45.
A resolution authorizing and directing Timothy A. Como, Mayor, acting in his capacity as chairman of the Housing Board, to accept a bid of $151,876 from DJ's Glass Plus, Inc., 3700 Highway 374, Green River, Wyoming, 82935 for the Goble Grove exterior replacement project at 530 Goble Street, Rock Springs, Wyoming, for the Rock Springs Housing Authority.
Council, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Savage?
I move to approve Resolution 2022-45.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-45. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Councilor Batolo,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 2, Resolution 2022-46.
A resolution accepting and approving a letter of intent to lease space at 502 Broadway, otherwise known as the First Security Bank Building, to Paya Asso and Jeanette Darger Tua, doing business as Mr. Fry's Man, and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said letter of intent on behalf of the city.
Council, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-46.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-46. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Councilor Savage,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi, Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
No.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 3, Resolution 2022-47.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract with Weed Management Solution in the amount of $122,195.50 and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the city of Rock Springs.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve 2022-47 resolution.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-47. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Councilor West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi, Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 4, Resolution 2022-48.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract with R&D Sweeping and Asphalt Maintenance LC in the amount of $46,323.50 and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the city of Rock Springs.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo.
move to approve Resolution 2022-48.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-48. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi,
Abstain.
Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 5, Resolution 2022-49.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract with Kilgore Companies LLC doing business as Lewis and Lewis Inc. in the amount of $973,974 and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the city of Rock Springs.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Mr. President,
move to approve Resolution 2022-49.
we do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-49. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item 6, Resolution 2020-50.
A resolution accepting and approving a standard form of agreement between owner and contractor for the basis of a stipulated price between the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming and DiBernardi Construction Company, Inc. in the amount of $360,045.23 and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said agreement on behalf of the City of Rock Springs.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo,
move to approve Resolution 2022-50.
we do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-50. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi,
Abstain.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 7, Resolution 2022-51.
A resolution accepting grant funds from the U.S. Bureau of Justice Assistance Program for the fiscal year 2021 Bulletproof Vest Partnership.
Council, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-51.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-51. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 8, Resolution 2022-52.
A resolution accepting and approving a cooperative agreement between the Wyoming Department of Transportation and the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said agreement on behalf of the city.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman West.
move to approve Resolution 2022-52.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-52. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Savage,
Yeah.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 9, Resolution 2022-53.
A resolution accepting and approving the 2022 Wildland Fire Management Annual Operating Plan and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the City of Rock Springs to execute said plan on behalf of the City of Rock Springs.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Savage?
I move to approve Resolution 2022-53.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-53. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Batolo,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Councilors, this brings us on to the ordinance section, of which we have 3 ordinances. First ordinance being Ordinance 2022-04 on second reading.
An ordinance amending Article 4-2 of the ordinances of the City of Rock Springs entitled Garbage Collection and establishing a citywide disposable waste recycling program.
Your Honor,
Mr. President,
let's see how bad I can slaughter this. I would move to amend ordinance 2022-04. First, with the information provided from our city attorney. On page 2, to delete the definition of container. On page 4, we will have the additions under paragraph 4-200-5. Under number 3, it should now read as follows. Under subsection A, aluminum and steel cans. Subsection B, plastic bottles / containers, which include number 1, PETE, and number 2, HDPE. Subsection C, paper products, i.e. office paper, newspaper, cardboard, paperboard, and magazines. This paragraph will replace the current paragraphs of C, D, E, and F. Subsection D, foam materials, i.e. packaging foam, food service foam. And then we would be deleting paragraphs G and I and renumbering accordingly. Then,
Well done so far.
yeah. I'm not sure, Devin, on this, as far as the marketing goes, where exactly you guys would like to see that, where the collector should be required to communicate acceptable and non-acceptable materials to recycling service customers at least once per quarter. At the beginning of that same paragraph we're discussing, which is 4-200-5, it's talking about the frequency of collection, and that's kind of where you had the comment. Is that where you were wanting to see it, in that section, or more of?
Mayor, Councilor West, that was simply a response to the city attorney's location where he made that comment. I think it could fit in that paragraph. It could also fit, I believe there's another section on requirements of the franchisees, but I might defer to your city attorney on that. Sorry, Rick.
let's just make sure that it's added, Mr. President, and we have, coming up on third reading, we'll have everybody give a chance to take a look at it once you provide the updated documents, and we can go from there, unless you had preference at this time.
Well, if I may, Mayor and Council, what I will do is I will take that language and put it in an appropriate place in the ordinance, and you can take a look at it next time. So you can move to have the language included, and I'll make sure that it gets in the best place.
Perfect.
Okay. So that language would be, quote, "The collector shall be required to communicate acceptable and non-acceptable materials to recycling service customers at least once per quarter." And then, on page 5, which is still under that same paragraph 4-200-5, number 3 should read, "Preparation for recycling. For those residents who choose to recycle, all recyclable material shall be separated from other garbage and refuse and grouped together and placed for collection in the appropriate receptacle. Recyclable refuse shall consist of materials that collectors determine to meet the requirements of their processing vendor and at a minimum shall consist of," and that's where we just amended the language that Rick sent over.
Perfect.
Then, there's one more. So now, with those amendments, we would have A, B, C, and D subsections. We would be adding subsection E, which would read, "The list of materials here and above is not intended to be exclusive and may change periodically as market conditions fluctuate and as collectors and other providers of recycling services encounter new materials and additional recycling capabilities. They are specifically authorized to add additional materials to this list and to refuse to accept recycling materials listed herein that cannot be recycled for reasons unforeseen at the time of the passage of this ordinance." Your Honor.
If I,
Rick, did you have
if I may,
something?
Mayor and Council, there was one other paragraph that is going to remain, and that is subparagraph J, which probably will be subparagraph E, and then K will be F. Non-recyclable garbage and refuse, we're going to retain that, subparagraph J.
Okay,
We'll make sure it gets numbered correctly.
Appreciate that. Well done, Mr. President. And councilors, you do have a motion to amend ordinance 2022-04 on second reading as amended by the president, because I'm not going to read through all that.
Your Honor, I didn't catch that. Could you go through that one more time?
Cut her down.
Yeah,
Second.
we do have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will amend ordinance 2022-04, second reading, and review it coming up on third reading to make sure that we have everything right in our next meeting. And with that, ordinance 2022-05 on second reading.
An ordinance amending Article 7-1 entitled Building Code of the Ordinances of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
And item number 3, ordinance 2022-06, first reading.
An ordinance creating Article 1111, Clarity Telecom LLC, vast broadband franchise within Chapter 11, franchises and rights of way of the ordinances of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
And councilors, as much as it does sadden you all, I'm sure, with no business to come before this city council, this meeting is adjourned.